Hey, my friends, I am so glad you're here. Today, I want to talk to you about something pretty real, pretty raw to me. Um, I'm right in the thick of it. I'm easing on to the other side, but I wanted to come here for a couple reasons and talk about my depression, about being a stepmom, and not to whine or complain, but for a couple reasons. One being, I don't really have anybody else to talk to. So guess what? You're it. And I think these things need to be talked about. And the second reason is because it can't be just me, right? Like it can't be just me. I know there's a lot of you out there that are going through all of this, some of this, a part of this. And I think our stories need to be told. I think for me, I, and this isn't my mom's fault. This isn't my grandparents' fault. This is no one's fault, maybe society's, but I feel like I have it ingrained in me that I have to be happy. I have to be happy. I can't really let all my emotions show. I'm a very emotional person, like super emotional. And when I let those show, I feel like I get looked down on. I feel like I get called emotional. I feel like I'm too much. Like I'm just too much. And that's kind of how I get treated when I try to let my emotions out or when I've done it in the past. I feel like everybody really likes me a lot and really appreciates me a lot, or I don't even know appreciates me, but they really like me a lot when I smile. When I smile and when I'm happy, it makes other people happy. That's nice. I like that. Um, but that's not like reality. That can't happen all the time because life throws things at you. And I feel like when life throws things at me, I don't really have a good way or good I don't have goodness. I don't have goodness when I'm like that. Um and that's just kind of sucky, right? It's just kind of sucky to think that if I am my true self, then I'm not worthy of the appreciation or of the goodness. I'm not worthy of it. But when I'm happy and doing everything that people want me to do, then I'm worthy of goodness. But it's either or. It's not an and. And, you know, then on top of just being a highly sensitive, emotional person, I have depression. And my depression is pretty good. I am the happy, smiley person. I'd say 90% of the time. I'm pretty good at it. I'm pretty good at just putting that smile on my face. But then sometimes, that depression hits. I don't know if it's a full moon. I don't know if it's because I'm a woman and my hormones just keep changing because that's what happens with women. Our hormones keep changing. So just when we think we got it, they change and shift again. And so 10% of the time, I I can't deal with life. I can't deal with life. I can't let what has happened 90% of the time get to me because 90% of the time I can let comments slide. I can let ungratefulness slide. I can let a lot of things slide and I can put on my smile and I can be appreciative and grateful for life and I can keep going on. But 10% of the time, it hits me really hard how, like, I wouldn't treat other people like that, but I take it 90% of the time. How I don't feel like I'm really heard, how I don't really feel like I'm really known. And when I try to stand up for myself, and yes, I probably do this wrong. I probably comes out angrier than what I would like it, for sure. And that is something that I have been working on. But when it comes out and I try to talk about it, it's not what people want to hear. It's not me smiling. It's not that anymore. And I feel like this probably happens to a lot of people. I don't know. You'll have to let me know, but does any of this resonate with you? I think on top of all that, having depression, like it cores me. It breaks me. Um and I don't know if this is everybody, but for me, like, when I get sad and when my depression hits really hard, my whole heart and soul hurts really bad, really bad. And then I start going to dark places, and not dark places like I want to, end my life, because I really don't. I love my life. And if that is you, I'm sorry, I don't even know. That's a whole nother level that I feel so, so bad about. But for me, my dark places are actually those places that I bury. I bury a lot, right? So I start thinking about how I'm too much, how I'm not worthy. I start grieving hardcore the life I thought I was gonna have compared to the life I have. And before everybody goes off on me, I love my life, okay? Period. Like, let's just get over this. I'm being real with you here. I'm being raw with you, so please don't judge. Um, but this is not the life that I thought I was gonna have, right? It's probably not the life my husband thought he was gonna have. It wasn't the life my stepkids thought they were gonna have. That's just honesty. Um, I really thought I was gonna have a less dramatic life. I really thought I was gonna have my own kids. I always wanted my own kids. Um, I always wanted to be somebody's first. Like, I always wanted someone to stick up for me, to be there for me. Um, I had an amazing mom growing up and an amazing grandparents, but I never had that dad. And a lot of people are like that, but I think that makes you have daddy issues, right? So I was always looking for that figure in my life, that male figure in my life that would put me first. I thought that getting into a marriage or into a relationship that would happen. Like, then I'd be your first priority. And I probably thought that because that's how I am. That's how I am. Like, I am very, everything else comes after my family. I stick up for my family. They are my main priority. And yeah, that's my mom and my stepdad and my brother and his wife and all that. But it's also Trevor and the girls. I have dropped friendships. I have dropped, you name it. I put them first because I feel like that's what you're supposed to do. Um, and I guess I just thought I was gonna get that too. And that is not being negative on them. That is just my perception and what I wanted. And we all know that's not how life goes, right? That's just not how life goes. So, you know, the depression really, really doesn't help this. It doesn't help at all, obviously. And if you have depression out there, I am so sorry. If you have someone in your life that has depression, just like be kinder. Be kinder to them. You don't know what they're going through. They're going through hell. Be kinder. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean you can't be kinder. Just because you don't feel what they feel, you can still be kinder. You can be kinder. Um, and I've worked really hard on self-development. I've worked really hard on how to take care of myself. I've worked really hard on my depression, but it still happens, right? It still happens. That's life. Life throws curveballs. There is that 10% of the time. That 10% of the time when life hits really hard. And when that 10% hits really hard, um, that's when you need to know the steps and the tools, or I needed to know the steps and the tools to help me. Um, and I have the 5 Gs, and I'm gonna go over them in a minute because they're what get me moving forward. They are what lets me put one foot in front of the other. And I feel like whether it's the 5 Gs or it's something else, like you need something to help you put one foot in front of the other. I'm kind of lost about where I was and where I was headed at this point. I'm hoping this makes sense. I'm hoping it resonates with somebody. I'm hoping it helps somebody that, like, I just got on the other side. Yesterday, I literally couldn't get out of bed. I would get out of bed, I would do something, I'd go back to bed. I had a raging headache all day long and could not stop crying. And that's just my reality yesterday. And that's no one's fault. It's not even my fault. It's just that's what happened, right? So now I am day one after, and I got on the treadmill today and I walked really slowly, but I walked for 30 minutes. I'm getting on the podcast and I'm putting myself out there. I'm doing a workshop at noon. Like I'm doing things. Yesterday I couldn't. I could not. Today I am. And I don't want to feel bad and I don't want to feel guilty for yesterday. It's just what it is. And I know that there must be some of you out there who know the guilt that is behind this, um, which just cycles into more depression and more sadness and more emotions. I just want you to know that I understand, and I hope people are kind to you today. And I wanted to share my 5Gs with you just in case. So, 5Gs are something that I try to do every day, but on these days like today, they're what gets me out of bed. They're what gets me moving. So, my 5Gs are grace and grit and glee and gratitude and gal gangs. And so, I'm going to walk you through my day today to just kind of give you an example. Um, Grace is that I let myself have yesterday. I couldn't do it. I couldn't function anymore. I couldn't do it anymore. I gave myself that day to cry and be in bed. I needed it. My soul needed it. I was so tired. I had been, you know, just going and doing for a really, really long time without anybody checking in on me, without, anybody supporting me. I've been supporting and doing and going for a really long time. And I know that's like probably when this 10% happens, when I don't take the time to take care of me because I can't rely. Nobody can rely on anybody else taking care of us. We have to take care of ourselves. That is something I firmly, firmly believe in. So I hit that 10% and I knew that I needed to give myself grace yesterday. And it was really hard to do that, but I did it. And I let myself have yesterday. Today, grace looks like going really slow on my treadmill. But I did it. I got on my treadmill and I walked for 30 minutes. Really slow, but I did it. And that's my grace today. Um, my grit today is also that I got up and out of bed. Sometimes you just have to do it, right? So I got up out of bed today. I also put things in my calendar for today and did not cancel them, knowing that I needed to do that grit. I knew that I had to meet my mom at 9. I knew that I had a workshop at noon. Those were things that were going to get me out of bed and keep me going. Sometimes I have to schedule little things like that just to get me there. Not over scheduling, but scheduling. So my grit, I got out of bed. I did it. I got on the treadmill. I did it. I'm getting on this podcast. I'm doing it. I'm going to do the workshop. I am taking the steps today in my life to move forward, to create a plan and move forward. That's my grit. The glee is the fun because I really think that we need to have fun in our days. And coming as an overly emotional, depressed person, that one's hard. I've also survived cancer, and that was a promise that I made to myself is that I would find happiness every day. And I really try to live up to that promise to myself because it was a promise to myself. I know how precious this life is. I really do. And sometimes with depression and being overly emotional, it looks like you don't, but you do. You really do. You can't help it sometimes. You can't help it. No matter how much you know, your brain takes over, your chemicals, your hormones take over in your body, and it's 10% of the time for me. I can't help it. And maybe that means I'm too much for some people. I'm too much for me. I could use kindness, so be kind. So my glee today, that's a hard one, right? Because I'm not happy. But I want to find glee. So I'm getting on that workshop. And yes, that's taking um grit, but I know it will also bring me joy. Seeing other people will bring me joy. Um, I am gonna take my dogs for a walk because they bring me so much joy. Oh, if you don't have a pet, go get a pet. My dogs bring me more joy than I can even talk about. They are my joy factor in life every single day. So I am gonna find joy. It might not be a lot and it might not be for big stretches, but I'm gonna find joy today. Gratitude. I do have a gratitude practice. I know that sounds cliche, but it really is a game changer. It is being really intentional about it. I do it in two ways. One, as I'm brushing my teeth and getting ready in the morning, I have a little post-it note up that says, three things you're grateful for, three things you're excited for, three things I'm manifesting it. I get it from, that comes directly from this person called Lori Harder. But anyways, I wanted to put it into my life. So in the mornings while I'm brushing my teeth and getting ready, I do that. I think, okay, what are three things that I'm grateful for? What are three things that I'm excited about that helps? Three things that I'm manifesting that I want. Um, but I also have a journal practice too that I try to do every day. I do not do it every day. I don't, but I try to. And in there, it asks me, what am I grateful for? And so again, I try to do that. And when I try to write it, I try to like close my eyes and feel it in me and be like, oh, I am so grateful that my little dog cuddled me this morning in bed. Oh, that feeling was so amazing. It was so nice. I felt so loved. I felt so appreciated. I felt so cuddled and touched. And I try to get back into that. And so every day I try to bring that gratefulness into my life. I know I have an amazing life. I know I have an abundant life. That doesn't change. That 10% of the time I feel devastated, that I feel overwhelmed, that I feel completely unloved and unworthy. That's depression, that's real. It doesn't mean I'm taking things for granted. It doesn't mean that I don't know what I have and love what I have. It means I have chemical and hormonal things happening in my body that I can't control. So be kind. That's my theory today. Be kinder. Be kinder to each other. Um, and my last G is that gal gang. So today, again, I'm doing a workshop where I'm presenting my 5 Gs, and I know that there'll be, even if there's a couple of women on there, those couple of women on there are going to be my gang today. They're going to be my reach out today. I'm going to see their smiles. I'm going to see them, and they're going to motivate me, and they're going to make me happier. That's what gal gangs are about. Um, Even doing this podcast, I feel like this is a gal gang to me. I can't see you. I don't know if you listen, but I feel like you're my gang. I feel like you're my gang, so you're it. So just being able to reach out to those women in your life that you need, and it's not necessarily, you don't have to reach out and be like, I'm having this horrible crappy day. You absolutely can if you want to, but maybe it's like, um, you know, dear whoever it is, BFF, I'm having an absolute horrible day and I don't want to talk about it and I don't want to stay with it, but can we make a date to meet up? Or can we FaceTime and you show me your new rose garden? Or, just let them know what you need. And it doesn't have to be, I need you to listen to all my woes. We know our woes, right? Maybe it is. Maybe you need someone to listen. Like I needed you to listen today. But maybe it's just someone to help you take that next step in the right direction. Like, hey, can you just grab my hand and go for a walk with me? Let's not talk. Let's just walk and walk with me because I need someone to help me get me through this next step. So those are my 5 Gs: the grace, the grit, the glee, the gratitude, the gal gangs. When I do those, they get me through my day. And during this 10%, they get me out of bed. And sometimes that's what I need is to get out of bed. So I'm sorry if this was a downer, right? That's what society makes me feel I should say. I should apologize. But you know what? You don't have to listen. You can skip through this. But if you have listened to all of this and it resonates with you at all, you want to know more about my 5Gs, whatever it is, just know that I'm here and I care and I understand. And I think we just need to share these stories. They need to be the norm instead of the norm being the smile and that I'm fine and we can do it all and we can put it all on our shoulders and we will still smile. That should not be the norm. That should not be the norm. And it should not be expected of us. And it should not be like the either or, you know, like we like you when you're happy, but when you're all emotional, how about you go do that by yourself? That should not be the norm. So I'm here for you if you need that. Like I do not think you should be by yourself. I think that you should try the 5Gs out when you can. And just know that I'm here for you and I love you. And this is real life. This isn't this isn't Instagram life. This isn't I'm happy all the time. This is real life. And sometimes these are the conversations that we need to have. I love you. Thank you.